remotely close, if they're not 100% equal, then
yes, I concur. Relationships as portrayed modernly that involve a sexual dynamic, if there's a power dynamic on top of that, a certain segment of the audience is going to call it inherently coercive and possibly even throw around terms like rape.
I noticed that there's a big red live icon in the corner.
There is.
That's the opening
yeah, it
line
popped
for
up
your
in the middle of my
screen,
sentence, and I don't.
It did.
Yeah, he does that, and it's
I
real
know.
annoying. Like, let us finish, Preston.
All right. Well,
Maybe I don't want certain of my opinions out in the public. I just can't.
okay. Well, it sounded like a
Yeah,
great
they belong in
writerly
the
opinion.
closet, Don.
And look, we make sex related comic books, and people certainly voice their critique. So it's one of those things we have to be cognizant of.
Absolutely.
How are people going to perceive the boobs? Because people get all very they impose a lot of rules about them. Anyway, what I'm really excited for tonight is to take yet another crack at La Vigilante. So thank goodness.
We haven't done that in a couple of weeks. We had a nice break from it.
We also haven't had a stream in a couple of weeks.
Yes.
Well, life happens.
I mean, one thing I got to say about the writer, is he's very consistent. He turns in his work, and I haven't read this, but I'm looking at it, and I see not big blocks of text. I see lots of little short, choppy lines. I see like proper formatting.
Many pages of choppy lines.
Yeah, like it has a pleasing shape to it.
Yes, I do recall the scenes kind of tended to drag.
Sure. So
let's just see if it's if there's a change or some formatting. Who's reading what?
Who wants to narrate? Go ahead.
All right, Katrina stands.
Let's start here.
All right. Exterior, red neon district night. Katrina rides her electric cycle through red neon district. She's changed into a black cat suit. She pulls into an alley.
This is it. Ready for my headliner. Gypsy, tactical preset 1.
I got to give a technical note here, otherwise I'll forget it. When you got a slug line, it's basically mandatory that you got to have some description.
So if we want to build on that, honestly, it should be the sentence where it says she pulls into an alley should really be under the alleyway. So it should be Katrina actually should be wearing a black cat suit.
Yes.
Katrina rides her electric motorcycle through the red neon district. Then exterior red neon district, Katrina pulls into an alley. That solves that problem, and it flows a lot better.
Sure. Yes, agreed.
The rear cartridge of the electric cycle transforms into a drone.
Wait, have I already read it? Okay.
I'm reading Katrina, yeah.
All right. Drone online, security scan initiated.
The drone flies off.
Secure the perimeter. I'm going for a walk.
Katrina dismounts her bike and walks away. Exterior, Gringle's Sports Bar night. Katrina walks toward the screams and laughter in the parking lot. There's a gang of maniacos loitering and harassing customers exiting the bar. Maniaco 1 grabs a woman by the arm.
Let go of me.
Come on, baby.
Hey, she's done for tonight, okay?
But we got something special going on. I feel it.
Katrina watches as she closes in. She masks up.
Yeah, why don't you join us? We're not going anywhere with you.
Maniaco 2 walks up to woman 2, and he flashes his pistol.
You're missing the point.
Which pistol?
Yeah.
The pistol that he's now flashing, evidently.
Yes, that's why I'm asking. What flash?
Well, my question is flashing as in he's brandishing it, like does he have it in his hands?
I read that as brandishes, so perhaps it's hidden.
Or is he like opening his coat and pointing to like a holstered pistol, because I could see that a couple of different ways, really.
I thought he was flashing his other pistol.
I mean, you always think that, John. You're very dick. I'm perfectly happy to let Look, I mean, dicks are cool and all, but firearms end lives, and their presence in a scene might. If someone busts out a gun, they command your attention in real life, and I kind of, when a character busts out a gun, okay, what do you got going on? So, in this case, he seems to be threatening woman number 2. You can't tease us, then bounce.
OMG, we'll do whatever you want, just don't hurt us.
The maniacos grab them.
You're coming with us.
Hey,
Everyone turns in Katrina's direction.
they've had enough. Let them go.
You gonna do something about it?
Maniaco 2 drops Cece and rushes Katrina.
Fuck yeah.
Let's have some fun.
Let's have some fun. Oh, that was actually my line. Awesome. Yeah.
You're
Katrina.
Maniaco 1.
Yeah, you're right. Monaco 1. Okay.
Katrina reacts quickly and front kicks him in the abdomen. Maniaco 2 pulls back.
Ugh.
Bitch got some kick to ya.
Oh my
Maniaco
god, I
1.
just realized, Preston, is your video off because you're actually wearing your reading glasses?
Oh, yes. Yes, correct. There we go.
Maniaco 1 releases Mari and she runs away with Cece. He walks toward Katrina and looks at Maniaco 2, who is grabbing for his pistol.
You don't. You'll alert the security drones.
They're getting away.
Fuck them, dog. I want this one.
Maniaco 1 faces Katrina and closes in. Katrina takes her Capri stance.
Fancy moves.
He swings at her. Katrina dodges. As he continues to swing, she counters with a rising head kick and knocks him out cold.
Hiya.
Maniaco 2 screams into his smartwatch.
Get out here. The more, the sexier.
What is hell is that supposed to mean?
I'm just reading what's in front of me, dude.
I mean, is this an orgy? What's going on? Anyway.
That's S13 you just clocked. Do I look like I care?
Maniacos rush in from every direction. Katrina poses nonchalantly.
Here for the gang.
He is here for the orgy. All right. That's the bitch. Get her.
Thanks, Preston.
No problem.
Katrina throws a few sticky tasers as they rush for her. A few maniacos are stunned and drop to the floor.
Sizzle.
Okay.
They actually say sizzle.
They say sizzle. They say budget. I don't know why they say budget, but they do.
She then slams open her batons and goes to work on the others, cracking the hardened metal against their bodies. 1, 2, 3 Macchianos drop. That's a good way to do a fight scene. Fight choreographer will figure the rest out.
Yes.
And then the batons apparently have a line.
They
so
do.
Mr. Baton says, smack, crack, split, bust. Breaking their bodies, sending them to the ground, writhing.
It's broken. Fuck. Get her.
Her face spotted with blood. She attacks with quick flurries, intentionally disabling their digits and appendages. She uses the environment to battle. Her fighting tactics are brazen and unpredictable. Yes, that's how you do a fight scene in a screenplay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Mr. Baton says, click, clack, smack. Katrina performs a flurry of strikes and brings a maniaco to his knees, then slams him with a whirlwind kick to her feet.
She kicks to her feet.
That's what it says. She kicks to her feet.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
I'm sure the fight choreographer will figure out what that means.
All right.
Care for a snack?
She somersaults and is soon riding on the maniaco's face, smacking a couple others with her batons. She flips off and slams him down with a wrestling maneuver.
This is like quasi-sexual, right?
I think he's going for that, yes.
Okay. Ugh, Get up, you
fools. Grab her.
Maniacos are scattered on the floor, unconscious. A giant hand grabs her, I don't know who her, by the hair while she stands up.
Come here, bitch.
La Bestia throws her into a car. Katrina recovers her balance as the rest of the maniacos circle them.
Fuck, I'm gonna talk to myself again. Right,
Yeah.
she's mine. I'm not a size queen, but I'd take you any day.
What the hell is up with look, is Katrina horny, or is this like the state of mind the writer was in when he was writing this?
I mean, the writer was probably not typing with two hands.
Oh, yeah, exactly. I'll give you every inch. What is going on here? All right.
It's a dirty, dirty boxing match.
This is filthy.
La Bestia takes a low boxing stance. She blocks and whacks his arm as he jabs her. The batons don't faze him. A loud clink can be heard. She reels backward, trying to survive.
This bastard stuffed with augmented graphite mods.
Put your toys away. Daddy's going in bare. Like every line. All right.
I mean, you know what? The writer is sticking to the bit.
Okay. Yes,
Sure.
he is.
Right?
I like it.
Yeah.
We might not like the bit, but he has committed to the bit.
He has committed to the bit. Yes.
He swings his giant fist. She blocks with her batons and slides back onto a car. He continues to swing as she dodges. He breaks the car apart. The maniacos cheer him on.
Yeah, fuck her up. Tear her to pieces.
A dust cloud forms. La Bestia takes a step back and stands still. Katrina's figure can be seen kneeling in the cloud.
Hiya.
She jumps out, grabs his head, and knees him, knocking backward. Blood gushes out of his forehead.
Thank you. Had a crick in my neck.
La Bestia cracks his neck, blood running down his face as he grins wildly.
End it. Don't let her get away. Take her down.
Who is this chick?
Police drone activity spotted. I better end this quick. Gone soft. Two.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
Oh.
Katrina spits at La Bestia.
Arg.
Katrina holsters her batons. La Bestia rushes forward, and she flips over him, sending him flying into the car.
Hiya.
Katrina equips her whip with a red neon tip that creates a stream of light in the air. She cracks it across La Bestia's back, and it sounds like a gunshot's in the air.
In the air, yeah. Huh. Ah.
She continues to crack away at La Bestia, turns and blocks with his giant forearms. She lifts her arms and swings the whip above her head, creating a sonic boom.
Hiya. Boom.
The strike sends La Bestia backwards into the already destroyed car as he lays there, arms outstretched.
No more, please.
Get her.
The maniacos are hesitant and frozen in place. She cracks the whip as she walks toward them. They can barely move because of their injuries. Pedestrians flee the bar.
Trigger shy, are we?
She brings her whip over her head and snaps in all directions, hitting each of the maniacos that remain standing. The whip going off like a gunshot as streaks of red rush through the air. Police sirens go off in the distance.
Who are you?
Yo soy La Vigilante.
She lands a final strike on Maniaco 2 as he holds his pistol.
Ah!
Katrina wraps her whip across her waist and flees the scene as security drones swoop in, flashing their lights.
Threat alert. Any violators will be prosecuted.
The drones shine a spotlight on the fallen gangsters. Katrina slips into a nearby alleyway.
Great party, just not my vibe.
Exterior, red neon district alleyway continuous. Katrina runs into an alley. There's a figure in the distance.
No.
She trips on some garbage and slides across the floor.
Okay.
She raises her head. A ghoulish Mexican Katrina jump scares her as it shrieks.
Eek.
Katrina raises her arm in fear. Nothing happens. She lowers her guard, and a bright flash blinds her.
Not now. Why?
Still on the floor, she rubs her eyes. She sees her younger self with her brother Tony in the distance.
Tony, no, 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 stop. Turn around.
She is unable to move. She tries to lift herself, but she's in a shadowy quicksand. She begins to crawl towards them. Exterior Megacell Stadium night. Young Katrina, a 7-year-old girl wearing jean jacket with a colorful long sleeve dress with braided hair, stands with her brother Tony, a tall, slim, athletic 19-year-old. Tony wears a t-shirt and jeans with slick back hair. Tony and Katrina scurry across the street into the alley.
Why are you in such a hurry?
There's some annoying friends I want to avoid.
Friends?
Come on, let's catch the next metro.
They walk into a churro vendor as they cross the street. Meanwhile, Katrina can be seen in the shadows of the alley begging for it to stop.
Go back, please, run. Can you buy me a churro?
What about dinner?
Please, Tony.
Only one. I would want like some like art direction for like the flashback versus like because usually art people want to style those a little differently, I think.
And also if this is pages 1 through 4, don't repeat so much.
Yeah.
I think this is in lieu of pages 1 through 4 because
we started on page 4, so
yeah.
I don't know what if 1 through 3 is still this, then this shouldn't be twice. Because
what if 1 through 4 is everyone hanging out with a makeup artist at the TV station?
Yeah.
Oh God, I hope not. Maybe it is. Maybe that's why he's bringing us into page 4, because he knows we're whipped that to shreds.
Oh, no, you know what it is? It's that weird bar scene that he already had drawn.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Where for no reason our protagonist leaves her friends and then just go beats up some strangers. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I don't know. This is not making me like 1 through 4 now. If your best scene is now page 11 and not pages 1 through 4. Kid Katrina has the biggest smile.
I mean, page 11 is a perfectly fine place to introduce a character reveal flashback.
Yeah, well, that depends on what happens in pages 1 through 4, though, because he had a strong 1 through 4, and now if he moved his strength to page 11, we're all concerned what's replaced it in pages 1 through 4.
And how's anyone get that far? But yes, let's finish reading this before we give credits.
Tony turns around as Katrina collects her churro with a smile. Suddenly, a mysterious gang member walks up.
Hey, Tony. All right.
We hear a gunshot. Blood splatters on the scene. People scream out. Young Katrina stares wide-eyed at her churro with blood on her face. Her brother's body drops by her feet with a thud. Tires screech as cars leave. Fade in from young Katrina's bloody face to older Katrina's blood-splattered face.
Stop it. Wait, why is she in the background and now also what are we doing?
She's having a vision. Visions are fucked up. I can follow that. That's not a problem. Katrina gathers enough strength to lift herself up and runs towards her younger self. That fades away along with everything else. The alley gets dark and stretches out further. La Katrina stands behind her as her shadow grows into the walls.
You're a hopeless mess. You will soon be consumed by the darkness.
Espiritu Santo, yo confío en ti.
Katrina looks back in fear and begins to run ahead. Which Katrina? You're gonna
Yeah,
if you're gonna do
I
her
don't-
Well,
name,
the other
do it
one
right.
faded away because it wasn't real.
but now we
Yes.
have a C Katrina and a K Katrina.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. The alley turns into a brightly lit hallway. The door opens to the left. Diego, the chief editor, steps out.
Okay. Preston, Katrina's still in here, so do you want to do Diego's line?
Sure. Congrats, you did it. No more street reporting for you.
Diego?
Katrina slows down and strolls forward. Carolina pops up behind him.
Katrina, I'm so happy for you. Go, go.
Katrina continues to walk down the hallway. Another door opens to the right. This time it's Coach and Teresa.
Gata, felicidades. Don't think your training is over.
Give her some space, Nico. We all believed in you, mija.
Up ahead, another door opens. It's Erica, the weather girl, with a group of ladies. She gazes at Katrina and crosses her arms.
Look at you. That fit is not it.
Katrina looks down.
Cunty. Anyway.
Katrina looks down as she's dressed for work. Another door opens, and out walks Mr. Montalia, one of the Neocom producers. Everyone else begins to clap. Does nobody in this group hate her or not want her to?
That's a crit.
I know. I'm sorry. Everyone's clapping.
Yeah, and then everybody clapped, literally. Our new lead anchor, you have a lot of work ahead of you. Hurry.
Thank you, sir.
A crowd of people appear up ahead and cheer her on, clapping. She struggles to walk through the crowd to reach the end.
Thank you, everyone.
A door opens at the end. The studio is set up. The cast and crew are preparing. Marta appears and begins to cover her in a cloud of makeup.
Hurry, honey. Let's get you ready.
Katrina is now seated at the news desk, her co-host Lupe next to her.
Hold on. Katrina has a line, so we'll give this one to Preston as well.
And we're live.
The camera zooms in on Katrina.
I'm Katrina Mil Flores, and this is my murder.
Interior, Katrina's bedroom night. Katrina, in all caps because it's the first time we're meeting her, wakes up from her nightmare. Her alarm sounds, the clock showing 4 a.m.
Some people use caps to indicate the focus of the shot. There's no reason to use it here, I would say, but, whatever.
There is a makeshift Day of the Dead altar for her brother Tony next to her bed. Katrina now has long, wavy black hair and an athletic build with green eyes and a thin face. She's wearing a lace top and underwear. Yeah, this is a character introduction from an earlier version. That's why she now has. So I'm guessing that's what that's.
Yeah, because, was she bulking up when we, saw her beat up the entire street gang? Or was she a child?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, that's a minor thing. That happens when you move scenes around.
That's fair.
I thought this was a definite improvement. I think he's come a long way. And if you will just keep improving and submitting pages and honing your craft, you are well on your way to being better than most people I run into on the internet who say they want to write for comics, So
I agree.
Yeah. I like the action scene. I could visualize everything. The fight was kind of it was interesting in which way it was going to go with all the sexual metaphors and innuendos and whips and other stuff going on. So it was interesting. It wasn't like this really dull like I feel like some action scenes can get. So neat. And all right, we have La Katrina with her compelling childhood trauma. There we go. Or La Vigilante. Katrina. Yeah.
Well, there was also a La Katrina.
Yeah, there was.
Because that's not confusing at all.
Right.
Yeah, so I vaguely recall the other version of the action scene. And I'm pretty sure this one's a lot better.
It is.
Because I think the thing that happened last time is we had like 10 pages of screen direction,
Mm-hmm.
like
And it was
beat for beat. In just it was just horrifying.
Yeah.
And I know the script is supposed to be a work order, but
fight
like
choreography.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it was really extra for fight choreography. So this is better.
Yes, I agree. The fight scene was much better. I think it was easier to follow. And the nightmare sequence was interesting. You did a couple interesting things there for to take us from one place to another. And then with her kind of waking up the way that she did, I mean, that needs to be cleaned up a little bit, but it was kind of an interesting to kind of present the idea is, did she dream this whole thing or was any of it real? So I think you kind of leaned into that, which was kind of was kind of interesting.
Danny.
The fight scene was boring. And nothing. Our protagonist was never in danger.
No.
There was too many bad guys. They all had 1,000 lines for it. Just kept happening. Like either this is easy and she's never threatened at all, which is what you showed us, or this is difficult and you don't need 10 guys for that, or you should actually use all 10 of the guys instead of just having them like stand around and then run away. Because if our protagonist is going to bravely assault some strangers on the introduction, like, and then just walk away like there's nothing wrong, they'd have a problem with her flashback afterwards, but not the strangers she assaulted. Or, if you want to be generous, the sexual assault victim she just saved. Like that's an action figure, not a character. So, I mean, yeah, the TV station Nightmare introduction was interesting. Stopping in the middle of a flashback and like tying that to the character like was interesting. But ultimately, you spent 10 minutes introducing us to a character who should otherwise be invincible. And then you end that with saying, and now I'm about to be murdered, which does not follow. So I think your narrative flow needs some work. And I would highly recommend cutting your scene much more radically and focusing on the important parts using fewer characters. And maybe not sticking in one location for 8 pages.
John.
I would definitely agree with that. Fight scene went on for way too long. That has been a frequent critique that we've had. It doesn't entirely make sense why she's there, what her motivations are in that scene. And then way too many. I know. You like, yeah, your Mexican drug. They've got armies of people. I mean, we've commented that there's too many people, absurdly too many people. So I would also encourage you to consider cutting that scene back. You did something also interesting, though, I think, with your flashback that I think you should probably lean into more. And that is why I think it would be more interesting is instead of when so let's say she shows up at this place, she beats up a few guys, she runs away, she goes into an alley, she has kind of her nightmare flashback thing, and then it eventually takes her to the anchor chair, and then what if you actually have her waking up doing the news? Almost to the point where she's like, am I here? Am I still dreaming? is this another dream? Like, again, if in a film, if I were to do this as a film, I would probably do it at least from the fight scene to that as a one shot that kind of just continues this entire thing, and then to a point where you almost forget, like, how did this transition happen? Because especially if you want to go into some of the psychological thriller type stuff where you have characters that, with dissociative personality, that's a good way to get her from actually fighting the scene to kind of becoming disconnected from reality and then waking up as her other character giving the news, and you can kind of transition that, and it would be very it would probably be a little jarring, I think, to the reader, but if you do it right, you can actually show in her mind, like, and again, some of us too, even in our day-to-day life, things become so routine you kind of don't even think about them. You get up, you go to the bathroom, you brush your teeth, you do what you got to do in the morning before you go to work, and it's like it just becomes routine. You don't even think about it anymore. Um, so like here, you kind of just skip all of that, and then maybe after she does the news, then she's getting her coffee, and she kind of like starts to wonder, like, what the hell happened last night, and why do I not remember going home last night, or why do I not remember, or maybe you can even have like what would be like you did that one scene with the security guy and her getting her badge. So maybe the security guy comes up and says, "Oh, here, you left this downstairs when you were coming in, like, here's your ID badge because you lost your other one." And she's like, "I don't even remember this conversation." And of course, we as the reader, we've never seen this conversation because we literally followed her from alleyway beating up dudes to giving the news anchor through this thing. I think if you lean into that, I think it'll make it a little bit more interesting and might accomplish what you're trying to do. Um, and that was kind of what left me when, and I don't, like Danny said, I don't get the whole murder thing, because especially if that's very tropey to do. So I probably wouldn't recommend trying to pull off this is the story of how I died trope in your first
If you're going to do it, don't establish that she's the Hulk before you do it.
Yeah, especially if you're doing action. If you're doing a drama, that's a little bit different. If you're doing Breaking Bad, that's a little bit different. But yeah, if it's an action movie and it's like, oh yeah, this is how I died, it's like, well, you do stupid, ridiculous stunts that no sane person would do. So yeah, we're not surprised that you do one and it gets you killed. It's not like you woke up with cancer. So anyway, I think if you lean into that a little bit and cut that fight scene in the beginning, I think you could probably strengthen up this opening pages.
So, John, how long do you think the fight scene should be? I say no more than 3 pages, set up to conclusion.
How many pages was it? Because I'm going to say it should be at least, at the most, it should be half of what it is right now. So
let me open it up.
So
Vigilante. All right, starts on page 4. Yeah, it starts on page 4, basically, where like the maniacos are getting rough.
When does she show up and actually start fighting them till when she runs into the alley? How many pages is that?
I mean, let's see. Pick up. That's like 5. Yeah, 5. There you go. It's 5 pages.
Okay.
So, Preston, how long do you think that scene should be?
I don't dictate how long scenes should be. A scene should be however long it needs to be.
I guess it's a good writing exercise.
Yeah.
And in this
Well-
case, I think it would do a lot of good because there's so much fluff in there.
Yeah, I mean, like, to me, it becomes, what emotions do we want the reader to experience vicariously by way of observing this fight scene? And I mean, it's interesting, and in that ways, I would say, I don't care how long it is. I don't want Maniaco 1 and 2. I want to know her opponents as more people who have wants and desires that she is frustrating and ultimately usurping, you know? Like, I want it to be a struggle of will between characters using violence to each further their own ends. And as it is right now, the bad guys are really more there so that she has a reason for being, you know? She is a crime fighter and they are the crime. And that's okay. But that fight scene is not all that interesting. You know, like, I want to see more something of, like, you know, if they were like ambushing her because they had some secret plan, or they wanted to get back at La Vigilante, or they want, you know, like, something like that. If I felt like she was vulnerable to their sinister gangster plan, orchestrated by an interesting character who has charm, but also could probably kill you without blinking. See, that would be an interesting scene, and I wouldn't mind how many pages that was, as long as you told me about it in a way that I found satisfying. So.
Yeah. And to that end, I think actually with this scene, if you want the majority of this scene to survive, I think she should just fight the two Maniacos, and be done with it. Like, she takes out the one, she takes out the other, and then have the police arrive, scene over.
Right.
That's probably 1 page right there. Because, like Preston said, if there's nothing interesting happening and there's
Well,
no
I mean, the thing is, she's kind of having, like, quasi sexual flirtations with them, you know? Like, they're engaged in physical activity against each other, sometimes in compromising positions, certainly very involving of each other's bodies, as well as repartee that involves sexual innuendo. But I'm not exactly sure, is she getting a thrill out of this, or is this just lines she's saying? Because her words are suggesting she's she's kind of a slut. You know, that's what her words seem to be saying. Like, she's diving into a pile of men and engaging them in hardcore physical actions and wants more. You know, we could draw all kinds of generalizations about how that woman would behave outside of a combative scene. But I don't know if that's really the character he's writing, because I didn't see her actions necessarily showing that she was a sadist, for instance. So I'm not sure what her emotional payoff is in this scene.
right.
Yeah. Like Palace, for instance, like, you know, Edmund loves doing what he's doing. Like, you know, it's not a mystery. You know.
Right. Right. And if we saw maybe if she's getting off on beating these guys up, if we saw that more than just her making a few quips, like
Right.
if she was like laughing at them, or if her like, like her face is just reacting in such a way, like
Right.
she is a maniac, you know, sadist. Like somebody who's
Yeah,
just
like,
like, I
if you see her dropping
enjoy
somebody,
delivering
yeah,
pain to
yeah,
other people, and
yeah,
this is how I do it.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, like, if she just, like, completely, like, takes some strong guy and just reduces them down to, like, a pile of broken limbs, and then she just, like, licks the blood off of it, and you can just see the joy on her face, and she's like,
right,
it's like, and you think, like, maybe this is unfair now, like, maybe she shouldn't be doing this to a helpless person, and like, now you're like, whoa, you know, you're taking me in this weird place, and now I don't know how I feel about her. But I mean,
That
like,
would
you
be
have
really interesting. I'd want to read that scene.
right,
I don't want to read the scene that we just read.
right. So, you know,
right.
Yeah.
Because that makes her an interesting character. And of
Mm.
course, if she is, if she did is just do this to, a rapist, murderer, whatever, then obviously we don't like him either. But
Right.
you still start to feel like, I think you're going a little overboard
Right.
with that. And then it just provides a conflicting, you have conflicting emotions about your character as to that, and that makes the character interesting and makes people want to it's again, it's like American Psycho, if he's taking out gangsters,
Yes.
but in the same way that, and I always blank on the character's name.
Right.
um
Well, what kind of like we see in V for Vendetta, right? Like he has like an emotional, you know, uh, he does things we don't agree with, including to people who we feel are innocent, like Evie. Uh,
right,
and he just really seems to kind of enjoy, um, like the fighting of the bad guys because he gets to enact his rage at what he went through, you know.
right.
And for that matter, I saw somebody talking about Fallout, which was a good show. I enjoyed that
It was a
miniseries.
good show.
Yeah, but like the character of the Ghoul, whom
Hmm.
we know in real life, and we see him in the past, and he's a good, upstanding American who wants the right things and who cares about his wife, and who cares about his daughter and is trying to provide for them, and is trying to save the world from like nuclear annihilation and is going through betrayals. And then later on we see him as the Ghoul, and in the scenes he has with I forget the woman's name, but the woman from the vault, like we kind of see this conflict in him of he's not sure what to do because the rules of this wasteland are kill or be killed, and she's not used to that, and she's just meat for the strong. But maybe he should be trying to help her because maybe there's something greater than that, and he's conflicted. But when he gets in a fight, like he becomes the Ghoul. Like he's got one-liners, and he just enjoys the carnage of just the killing people and showing them like, there's a flaw in that armor, bam. And like he loves to exercise his power in those scenes, and then that way he's a very complex character. Hooray,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yo, maybe our character beats up on the maniacos, then sees some like little girl holding a churro, and then has a flashback.
Sure.
Is
Yeah.
just being invincible for 8 minutes, then slipping on a banana peel in the alley.
All right, we got some harpies. So, John,
We do. This
tell us
is
about harpies. Is
all
this
right.
the production script here? Are we going with this?
Say what now?
Is this the production script? We're finalized. This is it right here.
I think so. I
Okay.
think so. I
All
did
right.
make some key changes. This is for issue 2.
Right.
Issue 1 is in the can. It's going
Yeah.
into production. That is
Yeah.
done. I am not going back to issue 1. So this is issue 2. I made some key changes, and I want to see if they work. And if they work, then this will be then the next version of this you guys will be reading will be the comic adaptation script, to make sure that I get my panels and my blocking right. But yeah, I think this is going to work. It does what I want it to do. So we'll see if this works for you guys.
Okay.
At least for the first. So this is 8 pages. I am the first 6 pages. I'm pretty good on. I'm not so sure about the last 2. So, but we'll see where we go.
Well, I guess I'll narrate this then.
All right.
Exterior, the Great Pyramids, Egypt, dusk. The SMS Ernst von Heppner descends, casting a dark shadow over the field tent set up on the pyramid side of a massive dig site. The gangplank opens. Mueller leads several armed German soldiers down the gangplank toward the expedition chief's tent. Dr. Meyer, a pale, gangly man with a raspy voice, exits the large tent as they approach.
Dr. Meyer, tell me the good news.
Meyer waves them into the tent. Mueller follows with 2 of the soldiers. The rest remain outside. Interior Expedition Chief's tent desk. As the 4 enter, they see Jezidrow by the minibar, pouring a drink. There's a minibar at a tent? I mean, it can be a pretty big tent, I guess.
It's the expedition chief's tent, so yeah.
That's a legitimately big tent.
Yeah.
All right.
Please forgive the doctor. He has a severe case of the strep.
She hands the drink to Mueller, touching his hand.
I sense a strength in you.
She turns his hand up, reading his palm.
Supernatural strength. Truly, you have the God's blessing.
Mueller retracts his hand.
What is the meaning of this? Who is this Negro?
Forgive me, Herr Mueller. This is just... We met in town. I needed an assistant.
Has this she-devil made you forget your tongue?
Please do not be harsh with the good doctor.
And you will bite yours, else I cut it from your mouth.
Just then, a dig worker rushes inside.
Doctor, come, schnell!
Exterior dig site dusk. Several of the works use pickaxes to break through hard stone, revealing an underground cavern. Meyer looks into the hole and points.
Am I Meyer?
I think you're Meyer.
Inside.
A worker drops a rope down the hole, and the soldiers climb down first. Afterward, Meyer and Mueller climb down the rope. One alone, Jezidrow sits on the ground in a meditative stance. Interior, mysterious chamber. A fine copper dust lays across the metal floors of this mysterious underground room. Lights illuminate as if activated by their presence.
The air down here is bad.
Dig site, seated, Jezidrow mouths words. That's drawable. Good job. Seated, Jezidrow puts on her O face. It's literally the same art direction.
Yeah.
Mysterious chamber. Meyer steps forward deeper into the chamber. Dim lights illuminate further in as if activated by his movements.
The Hecate stone calls.
Speak sense, doctor.
The group follows cautiously forward. Toward the center of the room, they notice the silhouette of a tall, humanoid figure sitting upon a chair. The Germans raise their machine guns.
You, put your hands up.
As they circle the chair, their eyes go wide with shock. Seated upon the chair, the decaying skeletal remains of a large-eyed alien sits on the chair. His hands wrapped around joystick controls mounted on the ends of the chair's armrests.
My God.
Shaking his head in disbelief, Mueller turns back to Meyer, who stares at a large black glass screen.
Doctor.
Meyer slams his fist against the black screen.
The Hecate stone calls.
Meyer slams his fist again, cracking the glass.
Please cease this action immediately and vacate the premises.
Mueller and guards look around the room for the source of the voice, guns pointed in all directions. Meyer slams his fist again, breaking every bone in his fist, causing the glass to shatter in his fist onto the floor. Behind a green glowing Hecate fusion core, its nucleus a Hecate stone housed within a crystal cylinder set in a copper engine.
The Hecate stone calls.
Meyer reaches out his hand, flesh hanging off bone.
Oh no.
Don't say I didn't warn you.
A Gatling laser drops from the ceiling, opening fire. Heated plasma bolts rip through Meyer, blowing out massive chunks of flesh. Chucks of flesh. Meyer pulls the Hecate fusion core from the copper harness, causing the Gatling laser and the lights to power down, leaving the room in darkness. The soldiers activate flashlights, eventually turning them to Meyer. Smoke rises from the holes. Really, John?
Oh, man, I missed one.
Yeah.
You don't know how many times I wrote the word hole in this entire freaking script.
How many
And I've had to edit.
W's are in the word hole, John?
Oh, there are a whole lot of holes.
And where is the word W on a keyboard in relation to other letters that start the word holes? I'll give you a hint. It's not nearby. How? How does that even happen? Anyways.
You don't know. As I said, I had to fix it in every single one. I missed this.
Well,
one,
you're going to have to
apparently.
keep fixing it.
Yeah, apparently.
In his hand, he holds the green glowing Hecate fusion core.
See, that's how you know AI did not write my script, because AI would not make that.
Yeah,
nonsense.
voice to text did.
Yeah.
What is this? Some kind of black magic?
Muller steps forward toward Meyer.
Dr. Meyer, hand me the stone.
Meyer grins ear to ear, flesh and skin hanging off his bones. Dig site, Jezidrow meditates.
Come.
I don't know what is Shona.
It's the language she's speaking.
It's the really annoying font I never want to have to use ever again.
So
Hey,
is come in English?
No, it's in the other font. It's fine.
Oh, but I'm saying like, or is this a word that I don't actually know the meaning of because it's a synonym or it's a homonym of English, but actually it's a totally different word?
Oh, no, I'm pretty sure that's the English meaning.
Yes.
Okay. Then
if it was otherwise, it would be in italics and it wouldn't look like an English word.
Okay. All right.
Mysterious chamber. Meyer bolts forward, shoving Muller to the side. Isn't Meyer like an undead corpse?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. She's mind controlling him. She just told him to come.
Ah.
She's commanding him. That's so yes. He is an undead corpse. Shoot him!
The soldiers open fire as Meyer races away. The green glow of the Hecate fusion core, the only visible thing in the darkness. Muller runs after Meyer, following the green glow in the distance. A soldier screams as the darkness swallows him whole. For fuck's sake! Blood splattering across the walls.
What, is that the wrong hole?
Yes!
Well, just imagine the other W is here.
Two soldiers turn where their comrade disappeared to. Metallic hands reach forward, grabbing another soldier's, dragging him shadow. Grabbing another soldier's, dragging him shadow. John.
Dragging him shadow. Yeah.
That's what it says.
I know that's what it says. His comrade turns firing blindly into the darkness. Dig site, Jezidrow rises from her meditation and approaches the opening as Zombie Meyer climbs the rope.
The stone!
Zombie Meyer holds up the Hecate fusion core, but just before she can take it, Muller grabs him, pulling him back down.
You'll have to try harder, witch.
Jezidrow steps forward, dropping into the hole. Mysterious chamber. The glowing Hecate fusion core shines bright in the darkness of the mysterious chamber. Jezidrow raises her hand.
You'll have to try. I'm not Mueller.
No, you're Jezidrow.
Oh, raises her.
Lower.
So yeah. Ruko. Sorry, there we go.
The shadowy arm of chaos magic extends from her palm, grabbing the Hecate fusion core held by Muller. Jezidrow waves her hand to contract the spell. Oh, to contract the spell. Okay. But Muller's grip holds firm, sending her flying toward him. Muller draws a combat knife. Once in range, Muller stabs Jezidrow in the stomach.
Another would-be heretic.
Muller drives a knife up her stomach, cutting into her chest, piercing her heart. Yay!
Cut down in her prime, in your case, quite literally.
Muller pulls the knife violently out, ripping flesh, dropping the mortally wounded Jezidrow into the ground before returning to the exit. Jezidrow wheezes, blood pooling around her, when suddenly two green glowing cat-like eyes illuminate in the darkness. Boo! Boo! Exterior dig site night. Muller climbs out of the dig site, heading back for the SMS Ernst von Heppner, when Long Fu leaps onto her back. Okay,
Careful.
whose back is Long Fu leaping onto?
Oh, onto Mueller. I'm sorry, that's a wrong.
Mueller
wrong,
has her
wrong
pronoun.
gendered pronoun.
Yeah,
I mean, he can have whatever pronouns he wants. It's just not very
exactly.
clear the way he wrote it.
No, he's a Nazi. He wouldn't have any pronoun he wants.
Care for a rematch?
Muller grabs her by the arm, pulling her off and throwing her to the side.
Unhand me, Munchkin.
Several yards away, standing on the seat of a Jeep, Aaron aims down the scope of a Lee Enfield rifle resting on the windshield frame. Bang! The bolt ejects a shell. EFX shot. The hot bullet cracks through the cold night air. It's Muller. Turning his head, the bullet whizzed through Muller's hair. The SMS Ernst von Heppner. As the airship rises over Muller. Wait, isn't it in the air?
Yes, it's hovering.
And Muller is on the ground.
He is on the ground.
So the airship's not really rising over him, is it? It's just floating over him, hanging out,
Okay.
tethered to the ground.
So it's yeah. Okay. Yes, correctly. It should be hover or hovers towards him.
It sounds like you're going for a low angle shot. Maybe say that.
Okay.
Right?
Yes, it would be a low angle shot.
The Magitech engine fires up glowing green. Boom. Aaron leaps from the Jeep as the mortar shell strikes the Jeep. Kaboom. Leaping to her feet, Long Fu charges Muller, drop kicking him, but only succeeds in knocking him back a few paces before falling back on her ass. From behind Muller, a hiss draws his attention. Green, glowing cat-like eyes charge from the darkness as a humanoid clockwork golem, blending blah 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 blah, causing both to stumble backward. Muller flips the golem off. Okay. Oh, off himself. All right.
Oh, I'm talking about
Sending her flipping into the air. What's up with all this repetition for no reason in all your sentences?
Yeah.
God, tell your AI to stop doing that. And landing on all fours like a panther.
There you go.
Muller grabs the Kate fusion core, getting back to his feet. Long Fu charges again, but boom! The airship's mortar shell hits her, blasting her into the sand. Okay, if that's a thing that you keep doing, that would be fun. Just every time Long Fu's about to ruin a scene, just hit her with some artillery until she goes away. So that way you can't actually use your unnecessarily invincible character.
That's kind of the idea. Yes, that was the idea.
You just make her invincible. Anyways, the airship fires again toward the golem. She darts back and forth like a nimble feline as the mortar shells send clouds of dirt blasting into the air. The airship's gangplank opens, and despite it still being several hundred feet in the air, Muller leaps into the airship. The golem charges leaping into the air at Muller, but her metal body hits the magnetic repulsion shield, sending her bouncing off and landing back on the ground. The gangplank closes as the SMS Ernst von Heppner rises into the night sky. The golem turns to Aaron, standing a few yards away, aiming her dual pistols.
All right, just who or what are you?
The golem's face and throat bulge as parts realign and reassemble themselves back to normal.
Language synthesis updated. I am the last remaining crew member of the starship. Chirp, chirp. That man has stolen the power core of my vessel. Tell me, is the enemy of my enemy my friend?
Aaron holsters her pistol, stepping forward.
You help us fight the Nazis, and I'll consider you a friend. Long Fu, you all right?
Long Fu bursts from under the sand.
I swear I got cracks, and I swear I got sand and cracks I didn't know I had.
As Long Fu approaches, she cocks her head to the side.
Your head. Aaron, did you request backup from the undead horsemen of the apocalypse?
The three turn, coming face to face with the matriarch leading half a dozen witches on zombie horses. Dismounting, the matriarch approaches the three of them.
We have tracked the magical energy signature from the Hecate stone, but not the one that beats in that one's chest. No matter, it shall serve our purposes nonetheless.
Dun dun dun. All right. I mean, I thought it was pretty good. It's better. Yeah. I mean, you pack a lot in 10 pages, and when we got
8.
yeah, you see, pack a lot in 8 pages. I mean, look what we got and all that. We got Mueller and Muller. Or Mueller and Miller or whatever, and the other guy who gets zombified, you know, fighting that whole thing for the Hecate stone to begin with. Then you get kind of Jezidrow's entrance, the commanding of the Miller zombie. Then we get the fight with the Mueller, and we get the introduction of the robot cat lady. And I mean that's a lot to cover in 8 pages. So good work. I thought it was fairly entertaining, fairly tight. You know, obviously you need to work on your spelling, grammar a little bit, but you know, whatever. It was good. I think you should be proud.
Yes, I agree with Preston. A lot happened, and it didn't feel overstuffed.
Right.
Good job.
Because I thought it was very overstuffed.
I mean, there's parts that are obviously overstuffed, but I mean, you could just cut them because whatever, and they won't work in comics anyways. A lot of that stuff.
Yeah. That I generally find that happens when I do the conversion, so that will probably happen all by itself.
And it's going to need a dialogue update to be a comic to make sense, because comics don't have motion. The bit with the zombie in the mysterious chamber was genuinely good. Like, really, that was very good. Keep that. Keep all of that.
Okay.
That was totally creepy. It really landed. The zombie was scary. You made a zombie scary for the first time, John. And I know you've done 5 issues of a zombie book. This is your first scary zombie. Good job.
Oh, this is zombie when they're being mind controlled or puppeteered.
Very much unlike the puppeteered zombies that were not very scary in your zombie book.
Yeah, true.
So,
true.
once again, the compliment was that for the first time, you made a zombie scary. Good job. I guess we're on to construction.
Yep. Go ahead.
No, I mean, Preston, you should go first.
You know, I feel like it you need a script to go into production. That one introduces everybody in a very succinct way. I understand what's going on. I mean, the constructive notes, I'll just say it again, but they're not even on these pages. So, like, it's a hard note to give, given it's not on the pages, but you should shy away from invulnerable characters because they're kind of dull. I mean, they discovered that with Superman. They had to kind of tone his power back a bit. So I don't like the idea of Long Fu being this invulnerable pun dropper. Her whole presence just kind of annoys me a lot of times. But there was very little Long Fu in these pages, and that's great. Good job.
Actually, dovetailing off of Preston a little bit, there was slightly too much Techneco in these pages. I feel like that character is introduced better being slightly more mysterious. So, like, cutting one of the bits where she does something and just, like, showing us what's happening in the other location would be a good solution there.
Should I cut the scene where she's fighting Mueller on the sand and just...
You should totally cut the scene where she's talking and just have metal arms, like, murdering people underground, and have her
do that,
and then just have her show up, like, wreck Mueller at the end, fail to get in, and then possibly be an antagonist to Aaron. Speaking of Aaron, and also Long Fu, I guess, they show up without really announcing their intentions. So, although it's fairly clear, thanks to your excellent use of the zombie and Jezidrow, what the MacGuffin in the scene is, Aaron and Longfu need some dialogue being like, get this guy, he's got the Hecate stone or something. And Mueller didn't chew enough scenery.
Yeah, I know. I got to work on that.
So, like, mostly I'm suggesting that there should be dialogue changes to like, clarify shit. So that's a pretty good place to be. Also, your spelling sucks. Fix it.
Yeah.
Seriously, that's pretty bad, some of those.
Yeah. Wrong word. The bane of my existence.
Well, there you go.
But yeah, this is a vast improvement. I'm glad working with some kind of structure has like really brought some of your plotting together. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that goes. Also, I'm really happy Jezreel's dead because you have too many invincible characters already.
There you go. I don't think she's dead. But...
Hopefully, she zombifies herself and just rots constantly for the rest of the series, because that would be interesting.
There you go.
She has to save the world before all of her skin falls off.
Then we just have
or like
Aaron
her brawn pops out or whatever.
But then she turned into a lich, and I thought about doing that, but I don't know if I want to.
Just to leave her in the world in the center of the earth, and then like bring her back in some like episode 4 sequel when you have to do like a side story because you have nothing better. Like when you're creatively bankrupt, go full George Lucas on this.
Yeah.
But yeah, so hopefully that happens. I'll be disappointed if it doesn't, but I guess I'll live.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, everything else was like very tight. As Preston was saying, there's a lot going on, but due to your economy of character and location, it all comes through very clearly.
All right, there you go.
Awesome. It'll probably be a couple weeks before I have this. I'll give you guys a couple weeks break from Harpies.
All right.
Because I don't know what I haven't quite figured out what I'm doing for issue 3 yet. Besides the fact that issue 2 in this version. Oh, yeah. Let me ask you that.
What?
Do you think having the matriarch and the other necromancers showing up at the end to like wreck shit is a good idea? Because this was kind of leading into because it also basically it'll lead into issue 3, and then the intention is that by the end of issue 3, the whole necromancer matriarch subplot will be resolved. That's kind of what was planning to do here.
Why don't you describe the subplot as briefly as possible, using only the conjunction because.
There you go.
So it's the subplot
because something happened, the necromancers show up.
Yes, they're showing up because they're following the magical energy signature
of
the Hecate stone that Mueller stole. And then they find
and then
that
because
one.
They showed up, what's going to happen in issue 3?
Basically, Matriarch's going to die. Jezreel's going to kill her. And that's going to set up the Jezreel versus Zola story, which is how the Nazis are going to get the zombie Nazis.
It doesn't sound like the worst idea. So give it a go.
That's the plan. Jilted ex-lovers. That's because
that who Zola is?
Yeah, that's who Zola is. Zola's going to be a jilted ex-lover.
And so that's why we can't get rid of Jezreel, because then we would lose the booby touching scenes.
You have 2 other female protagonists. You could have more booby.
You do. Yeah, I know. For some reason, he really likes the idea of this.
There's this weird economy of tits in your project. And it makes you question whether or not it was truly written by John Lamont.
Yeah.
You should train your AI better.
It's not written by AI. I was saying
Yeah,
it
you should
wasn't
write
written by
better.
AI.
Yeah.
I just need a spell checker that knows what version of the word hole to use where,
There you go.
because I don't know.
I mean, I the sexual tension between the lesbian triad of the matriarch Jezidro and her sapphic sister, which I never found particularly interesting. That's not to say it couldn't be interesting, but I just found it a bit like, okay. You
I
know,
agree with you,
yeah.
but John's really intent on making this work. So
All right. All right, fair enough. So I mean, like Aaron and Jezidro, I feel like have more.
They just hate fuck all day. Why aren't you doing that?
Yeah, exactly. Like those two are in real competition, so there's like actual tension there.
Because I never wrote Aaron to be gay?
Well, that's okay. She doesn't have to be. Jezidro can be trying to seduce her, and that gives us as much as we need for stuff on a page.
Yeah, but then John has to actually try and like write the dialogue for that, which I don't think is his strong suit, which is why he's
Okay. All right.
That was the look I saw on your face when you were.
If the scenes between Jezidro and Aaron were vaguely reminiscent of Pepe Le Pew, it might be interesting. I don't know. All right.
Oh, like go like full on like horror.
Yeah.
You know what? I can see that like actually working. I can see like
this goes back to our consent conversation we had at the beginning of the
yeah, there's a really Looney Tunes version of that where like Jezidro, who is a zombie, keeps trying to like flirt with Aaron. Longfu like punches her into the stratosphere. She comes back with like a little bit less like flesh.
Yeah.
Because they're both invincible.
Actually, that would be kind of funny.
Yeah.
That would be funny, which is why you're not going to do it. Because I mean, I'm not sure if you're better at writing comedy or flirtation, but like, I'm going to guess that neither is really your strong suit. I can see the version of this being comedy, but like, you'd also need an illustrator who understands, no, this is actually just a sight gag. And that requires a lot of art direction that I don't think you're going to have the patience for. So as much as I want to see it, as much as it's actually a good idea, that's also part of the whole setup for this project, which you would then need to rewrite to enable Longfu to actually be a comedic character instead of an invincible action figure, that's a lot of work.
Yeah, well,
although you have been going in that direction, so I guess yeah, if you had a better illustrator, then like I'd say go for it. You could probably pull it off. They might refine on the script. So try.
Yeah.
You want to try.
Anyway, all right. Well, you two can brainstorm some more. But I think those are all the scripts for today, and hopefully we'll meet in a week or two.
Yep.
Meanwhile, you two can go hash out how to make Harpies #1 perfect. And good luck in that regard.
Cheers.
Yeah, cheers.
All right. Good night, everyone.